Level up. Level up.
We're live.
We are live.
Hi
Hello,
guys.
everybody. It is
Finally.
currently 7:29 here in the beautiful Ocoee, Florida, state of Florida. I don't know what degrees are, but today we're talking about translation services.
It's streaming, Virgil.
Yeah, no, I just it is on the Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
we had a little bit of technical difficulties with StreamYard being weird. Y'all know how it is. So sometimes it happens. And, sometimes it ain't nothing wrong with a little CP time. You know what I'm saying? Y'all might not know what that means, but that's okay.
I don't know
So,
why they wouldn't know what that means.
what's that?
I don't know why they wouldn't know what that means.
Some people might not. But I'm just being silly. Hey guys, we don't know who you are, so if you guys could take a look at the permissions and give permission to StreamYard so we can see your name, or if you can just put your name in the chat, then we'll know. But it's probably easy to just go on StreamYard and approve that. I think that may be Stephanie, but we're glad to be here. Took a little bit of a break. We just sometimes life be life, and you know what I'm saying. We had a good February.
All right. Well, we had a good February. We're not talking about February or March. We are talking about translation services today.
Right, sure. My transition was gonna.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead. Y'all do what you do.
Yeah. We're trying to get away from talking about our own personal businesses and trying to be more informative on this channel, bringing things that are informational to everyone instead of giving our business opinion. I don't know. Anywho, Bergeau. Oh man. So Bergeau will be leading the live on translation services since she is the one who has done them. Do you know how to did you have something to share or no? You know how to share your screen?
Oh, not on my phone.
Oh,
Not on my
okay.
phone.
Well, you can go ahead and start
Okay,
talking.
so many people have had to pivot, obviously, during the time where loan signings went down, right? So we're all trying to figure out different niches. So translation services is one niche that you can incorporate into your portfolio. Why? Because translations have to be notarized. Okay. So how do you go about marketing that service? Well, first, you have to market to translation companies who perform translations for people. They can use you to notarize their translations, and in turn, you can offer it as a service. So, what I did was I reached out to different translation companies in my area. And one of the ladies, she works here and in another state. So what happens is when she has somebody who is here where I am, they need to get a document translated and then it needs to be notarized. I will notarize for her because obviously I'm not notarizing the customer signature. I'm notarizing the translator's signature, right? Or in my case, the translator representative. Okay, I am notarizing her signature stating that the translation is accurate to her knowledge or her company's knowledge or whatever. And then I have to print out the documents in color. So you do need a color printer, preferably laser. Okay, we don't want to be printing out translations in color on inkjet. That won't work. Okay, so you need to have laser jet. You need to have a color printer for translation. You can charge a translation fee on top of whatever the translator is charging. So I have a customer who works at a dealership, he reaches out to me, tells me he needs title documents or whatever notarized. I reach out to my person. She sends me a quote, and I edit the quote so that it has my information, my logo, and everything, so that it's no ties between my customer and her because I am the third person that's in there, right? So I put her quote and then I add my quote too. And all together, I send them a quote and he pays the quote and then she does the translation. When she's done with the translation, me and her meet online to notarize. Now, in some of you guys' cases, you may be able to work with somebody who is local, so you won't have to do the online notary because I know some people may not be around. So if you have someone local, you can go to their office or they can come to your office, however you have it set up. You notarize for them and then have the customer pick the document up from you. Now, my customer, he doesn't pick the documents up for me. He pays me an additional fee to mail the documents to him. Okay, because he works at a dealership. So he's like, I'm not coming to you. I just need for you to send the documents to me. So I send them to him, priority shipping one day. He pays for that. So he's able to track, see when his documents will be there. And that's just the process. So it says need training. Do you need training for the service? No, you don't need training for the service because you're going to work with the translator. You're not translating anything. You're the facilitator. It's just like if you were doing apostles. You would be facilitating the process of the person getting an apostle. So all you're doing is you are getting the documents from your customer, getting the information that the translator needs. Usually the translator needs to know what language the document is and what language they want it translated to. Okay? Then she sends me a quote. And like I said, I edit the quote, add my stuff, add my logo, my contact information and everything. And then I forward that quote, the invoice, over to my customer. And then that's how the process works. So you don't need training to do that. You just need your business. If you are already offering notary services, then you already have some type of business structure already set up. It's all about you having a relationship with the person that does the translation services. Okay? Where everybody go? Oh, I just saw my face. I didn't see anybody else. Can you share estimate what you would charge? I charge a flat rate. Can you guys hear me? I can't hear y'all.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Because we were on mute.
Oh, okay.
We both were on mute. Sorry. We can hear you.
Okay. My estimate is based on what they need me to do. So I have a flat rate that I charge to facilitate. That's just $15. But if they need me to do other stuff, I do charge for printing. I charge for the notary. I charge for shipping if they want me to ship it. If they want me to bring it to them, then I'm going to charge them travel. So that is my fee that I'm putting on top of what my translator is already charging them. But when they get the invoice is broken down into what she put, and then it shows what I put. That way they know everything they're paying for. I don't just email them back and say, hey, it's going to be $250. $250 for what? So I have my invoice broken down to where they can see each item they're paying for. They agree. I do have it to where they have to approve the invoice. I haven't had anyone reject the invoice, but I have it to where they have to approve my invoice first. And then once they approve it, it automatically converts it into an invoice where they're able to put in their credit card information. And then I'll get a notification saying it's been paid. Once I am paid, then I pay my translator her fee because she has a whole different setup for how she receives payment. So my customer pays me everything, and then I pay the translator her fee. Once she gets receipt of the payment, she starts working on the process, and then she gives me a turnaround time. I tell them the turnaround time, and then we wait.
Now, explain why the document has to be printed in color. Because I don't know, I've heard other people talk about it, but I never heard them say you needed a color printer. So expound on that a little bit.
So there is a disclaimer on there that says that this document, if it's not printed in color, is not valid. It's like a disclaimer on there. So you do want to make sure that you're printing it in color. And please do not use inkjet because
would that just be her document, or do you think that's everybody's document?
The translation declaration, the official certificate has to be in color.
But I mean,
It's
is
just
that
like
just her declaration, or is it?
no,
Is there one?
no, it has to
I
be.
Google it.
It's just like with the apostles. An apostle should not be in black and white. It has to be in color, or it's not valid.
Okay.
And this is not anything that I came up with, guys. When I called all the translators, this is something that they told me. Like, if you print out the documents, please make sure you print it in color. The certificate, whatever declaration, has to be in color. Now, her certificate has to be in color. The documents obviously are going to be black and white that she translates. I don't have to print her the translated documents in color. Those are going to be black and white. The only thing that's going to be in color is the authentication certificate that they attach for certified language services.
Do you have a I'm just Googling those certificates to see if there's a sample, and I found one.
Okay, I was going to say I probably do have one saved, but I don't know how.
It didn't have that. It didn't have the language that you're talking about, so I don't know. I'm just wondering if that's just her document or if it's everybody's. If everybody uses the same document or everybody uses a different document.
If everyone, you mean uses the same authentication?
Yeah, because I see other versions of the declaration.
Yes.
I see other pictures of them.
Well, then I'll say this: whomever you decide to work with, they will tell you the preferred way that they want you to do it, and so that's what you go by. So don't go by what I'm saying. My person I work with, she specifically told me that I needed to print her authentication certificates in color. Okay, so don't quote me on that across the board.
Yeah, I see some. Yeah, they all look kind of different, I guess, and it may vary from. I do see some that are in color that kind of look like the apostille one, but then I see
depending on the translator, they will tell you what you need to do in order to provide the certificates. If you have to print them to the customer, they will tell you, because they know they're doing this. They know what needs to be done. So it's just like a partnership. You know, you talk to them, you tell them what you do, they tell you what they do, they tell you what they need and what is required or preferred, and you either decide that you can do it or you can't.
Now, there are some instances where somebody may call you out of the blue and ask for translation services, and you are not working currently with a translator. So in that case, you probably would need to Google a translation services and call around and find out, you know, who can best help you complete the translation if you don't already have one. Bergeau already happens to have a lady that.
And you know what the thing was is, and you know, for everyone it'll be different. But in my opinion, I wouldn't just advertise a service and not have a person, because I don't, for those of you who have followed me before, I worked with a person before and didn't interview them and see how they worked, and they were trash. But because I didn't vet them, I just saw that they offered a service. So I was like, well, I'm gonna work with you because you offered a service. But don't do that to yourself, because that person made me look bad, and then I had to pretty much pay for her, you know, what she did for my customer. And I had to explain to them, you know, that is not how I do business.
So I guess in that case, it'll be better to do your research ahead of time.
Do your research
and try to find a couple of people that you can
don't just
on,
don't just advertise your service and then try to find somebody and then you end up working with them and finding out that they are terrible to work with. Because remember, everything you do forward fronting to your customer, that's a reflection on your business. So if your customer has a bad experience through you because of somebody else, they're not going to blame the other person. They're going to blame you. because you're the person they contacted for the service. So it's not their fault if the person you contact, it's not their fault that you weren't prepared to provide the service. That's what I'll say. Never put yourself in that situation to where you're just you're offering a service and you know that you don't have it set up on the back end, and then you're rushing trying to do it for the money. It's not worth it. It's just not. It's a bunch of them, depending on where you are. I'm in South Florida. There's a translation office literally every 2 miles or so. So I had a lot of people to call and talk to. So definitely do your due diligence. Talk to these people.
There's a bunch of translators on Fiverr. And those people may be good to work with because
Absolutely.
they are independent people and they may not be notaries. Whereas some of the companies you Google will already have notary services within their company, so they don't really need a notary. So let's see.
And I will tell you guys, I looked up on my person because she was using her sister as a notary, and her sister was relocating. So her sister wasn't going to be able to do it anymore. So I literally ended up calling her just in the nick of time. Like, oh my God, I was going to have to find a notary because my sister couldn't do it anymore. And so it was perfect timing.
So somebody said, check your state translator association for certified translators. That should be good. And hi, Louise. Depending on the translator, they should tell you which one. Yeah, that's true. They should be able to give you all of the information that you need in order to facilitate the service. All right. Is that it?
Yeah, I didn't have much else to say about that. If you guys want to offer the service, research your area, talk to the different translators. And it's not about whether they need a notary. It's about you telling them, people contact me for translations. I want to be able to use you. Can we work together? Because yeah, they may have a notary, but if you're getting customers calling and you're sending them business.
No, I just meant for the fact that you notarize for the lady. They may have an in-house notary that already notarizes their translation, and then it'll come back to you, and then you will be able to notarize whatever else you need to notarize. But I'm just saying their translation, they may not be willing to do that notarization with you because they already have a notary in-house. That was why I mentioned that. But yeah,
okay, if you're trying to do it for your business, not trying to do it for their business. If you're doing it for your business, then you're going to pitch it in a different way. Does that make sense?
To me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm doing it for we're doing it for our own business.
Yeah. Yeah, but so I'm just saying that's how you would pitch it. Like, you're not going to pitch it like, hey, I know sometimes you need translations notarized and I wanted
No, that wasn't what I was saying.
Okay.
I was saying when you call and say that you have customers that are needing translations and you would like to use their services for the translation portion, I'm just saying that once they translate the document and you go and it's ready for notarization, they may not want to notarize with you because they already have their in-house notary. So I'm saying on that one, you may not get the notarization there, but you will get the translation is what I'm saying. They'll provide you with a notarized translation upon whatever, the end of it. And then whatever you need to notarize after that, then you would notarize for the client. No? I
don't think that they would do that, but it's different for everybody.
I don't
get if I'm shooting them a customer, my notary, it would just make sense that they will only do the translation part and they would do the other part with me. But that would have to be an agreement that you make, and whatever agreement you have with them, that's the agreement that you have with them.
That's why I'm saying they need.
They may tell you up front. They may tell you up front, like, yeah, you can use me. I'll have my notary notarize it.
That's why I'm saying you need
Yeah.
to ask that question when you call, because some of these companies already have a notary, and they already have a way to notarize. They're advertising that they can add on notarization services. So that's why I'm saying just ask and make sure that they're just going to do the translation and not the notarization, and you can do the notarization with the client yourself. Because the client is attesting to the translation too.
No,
In
we're
some cases-
not notarizing the customer who's getting the translation. We're only notarizing for the translator representative or the person who translated, because they can't notarize their own translation declaration. So you're notarizing the translation declaration, and then you are giving the notarized translation declaration and the translated documents to the customer.
I
The
had
customer
one,
doesn't sign
the
anything.
one that Ava had me, that called me on, they needed the translation for the document. And then because they spoke both languages, they attested that the translation was an accurate translation of birth certificate or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So the notarization, so they got it. So she got it translated, and then they attested that the translation was accurate based on their knowledge of both languages. So I guess it can be done more than one. Either the translator can notarize that it's true and correct, or the person attested to that situation. I don't know. That's the situation she gave me. I didn't end up doing it, but that was the situation that she gave. So I don't know. That's why you got to do, check into the company and find out what they offer, how they work with your business, how they will fit into your model. And not just them, not just you giving them business, giving your business away to them. How do they fit inside your business model?
Right.
And most importantly, you have to make sure that whatever it is that they're doing, that it falls in lines with what is allowed for your state.
Mm-hmm.
Because my translator, she does not know what type of notarization is needed. I had to educate her and provide the appropriate certificate based on her specific, type of document. So she is doing translation services, but she also is the representative of the translation company. So I am notarizing for her in a representative capacity. And that's the type of certificate that I use on the translations. So it's very important, again, that, no, you don't have to be trained on translations, but you still need to know what is required of you for the notary part. Okay,
Yeah.
it's our job to know what is needed for the notarization, because if we do not put the right certificate, it's not valid. And I actually shared a court case in my Facebook group showing how a notary, they did not use an appropriate verbiage for an acknowledgement, and it was a bank representative, like a bank teller or whatever, was a notary, and they didn't put the right certificate, and so the document was contested in court. Now they were saying that they were going to let it slide, but it never would have went that far had the bank teller or bank notary did what they were supposed to do and using the appropriate certificate. Yeah, the acknowledgement did not state how the person was ID'd.
Oh, for Florida.
I don't know if it was for Florida.
Oh.
Yeah, it was just a court case. I was looking through the NNA, and they had several court cases regarding notaries. And it was one listed where it was saying that a document went to court and they were about to say it was invalid because the certificate did not have all of the right elements. I was like, wow. So when we're telling you guys to make sure that you have all the right elements for your certificates, we're not just pulling out our rear. This is actually real. And attorneys, they know what they can do to win a case. So if you for some reason just do one little thing that not right, they can use that to their advantage against you. So this is why it's so important. I know especially for my group, I'm always talking about, don't, be careful or you can go to court. And people are thinking like, yeah, right. Like, what are the chances that I'll be taken to court for notarization? You never know. You never know. It don't have to happen this year. It don't have to happen in 5 years, not even 10. Laura Buer had what happened in 12 years, and she had to produce a journal entry. Go figure, for something 12 years ago.
Wow.
Asking her if she remembered a notarization. She said, no, I don't remember that person. I don't remember what document I notarized for them, but I have a journal. So, I'm currently doing my pitch for notary. I would like to know how online job work. Oh, I don't understand.
Like a Ron?
Ayana, you wanna? Yeah, I'm about to say you wanna answer
Like
that?
Ron? What is this live about?
Adding translation services to your portfolio of business that you offer.
That's what this live is about. So I don't understand the question, Bob. You're asking how a Ron works? Is that the question? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly like what he's asking.
Yeah, I don't either. That's why I was like, Ayana, you want to take that one?
Yeah, I don't know. If you're asking how online notarization works, or he says do an application for notary. So doing it online will require a separate certification in the state of Florida. But you will have to be commissioned as a notary first. All right, y'all. I mean, I guess that's that in a nutshell.
Does anybody have any other questions that they want to ask other than what Bob will need clarity if you're still here? We need some clarity behind what it is you're asking.
He said yes.
So
if you're doing an application to become a notary, you'll have to be a commissioned notary first, and then you can take the course to become a remote online notary. And the way they work is the same way they work for any other notarization. People come to you requesting your services, and you use an online platform that allows you to ID the person and meet with them online in one session with all of the signers and witnesses and complete the notarization. All right, bye, Omar. Have a good one. Like, that's weird. So that's how online notarizations work. I hope that answered your question. Any other questions?
Other than Omar letting us know that he's about to head out.
That he's heading out.
But I guess that wasn't a question. But...
Peace. He did say he didn't have any questions. So
yeah.
If there's no other questions,
we'll, I guess, talk to you guys on our next schedule live.
Yep, we'll talk to you again.
Did you guys want to talk about how we're going to do it once a month now, moving forward?
So somebody asked a question.
You definitely want to make sure that they do have, what is it? It is, I was looking it up. It's a credential for certified translation documents, like a certified document translator. There's actually a company that certifies people, but it's just like with notary, you're able to actually look up the person's licensure.
Is it the member American Translator Association
I think that's one of them.
or Association of Translation Companies?
Yeah.
National Association of Judicial Interpreter and Translator. I was just on a website. There's different ones, but probably
Yeah, they're different.
American Translator Association would be a good indication that they are credentialed.
Yeah, but you definitely want to, make sure they have that, because the reason being is because for some documents that need to be certified translation, it's going to court.
Right.
So if the document is not certified, it won't hold up in court. Now, if they're just needing to get it translated for domestic purposes, I did not see any qualifying factors for that. But for court documents, anything that's going to be used in a legal, for legal purposes, it needs to be certified translation, certified document translation. So they do need to be certified. Because I was reading, they have it where people can translate their own documents, but not for legal purposes. So I was like,
Yeah, it looks like for official purposes, you need one type of translation, but then like for professional settings, you can just have a basic translation. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be the official version or certified. It's not a certified translation.
Right, yeah.
And then I also see on this one, certified versus notarized translation services. It says a certified translation can be provided by any professional translator. The translator must sign a document assuring that the translation is an accurate replica of the original and the translation is certified. A notarized translation requires the notary to witness the certification process. To acquire a notarized translation, the translator signs a certificate of authenticity in front of the notary. Then the notary signs and stamps the document. The signed document becomes known as an affidavit and can be used for any submission requiring this level of verification. So that's probably the difference between the one I'm telling you about. AHA is probably they only need a certified translation, and then they can.
A notarized one?
No, a certified one, not the notarized one. They probably only needed one that was just a certified translation where it wasn't required to be notarized by the translator, and then they attest to the contents of the translation. That's probably what they were talking about.
With a translator, they can't notarize their own translation.
They're saying that there's a difference between a certified and a notarized translation. One can be notarized and one is not.
Yeah, but I was just saying the translator can't notarize their own translation. Like, yeah, it is notarized, but not by the translator.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's notarized by the translator. I'm just saying that in the case where they ask for the signer, the customer to attest to the accurateness of the certified translation, is probably one where it wasn't required for them to get a notarized translation from the translator. That's what I was saying. They only needed a certified translation because apparently some companies offer it with or without the notarization. So it says a notarized one is typically requested by schools and universities for verification of application, previous courses, diploma, and then certified translations are mandatory for legal documents such as immigration, birth certificates, contracts, and court transcripts. So, yeah. All right. You're welcome. Thanks and good night. All right. Well, we're gonna head out because I'm sleepy. So.
You guys have a good night. We are going to be going to once a week moving forward. Once a month. I'm so sorry. We're going to be going to once a month. That'll give you guys some time to number one, miss us. And also, if you guys have any questions or anything like that. So we're going to be heading up different topics like we're doing today. Virgil's, she's done many translations. So That's her bag. You know, I done beat weddings with a dead horse, so we ain't talking about that no more. Go back and look at some of the videos. But we're gonna actually bring things and talk about things that are gonna actually add value to your business, rather than talking about our own eccentric experience in it. So, you know, be on the lookout for that.
He was
Yeah,
on.
and those videos are not going to be that long because it's not a whole lot. You know, when people think about the different services, they think it's a whole lot to it, and it's not. It's not a whole lot to it. So we'll, you know, introduce it to you guys, tell you guys how to do it. It's probably only going to be like a 10, 15-minute spiel. And then the rest will be you guys asking questions about how you can do it and us just basically helping you to get into it.
And we all have Facebook pages. So if you guys want to know more and put it in context, all of this is listed on our Facebook. So you guys can continue the conversation maybe beyond the live. So don't think that because you missed it, it ends. We can continue the conversation as long as you want, as long as you get comfortable and start thinking outside the box, because obviously we know loan signings haven't been the same way they were since the beginning of last year. You know, even weddings, even the experience that I've had has low periods. And, you know, general notary work does slow down. So you want to be able to have these things to have in your tool bag so you can have something that will continue to have revenue. Because, you know, if you're anything like me, I don't like to sit around and do nothing for too long. So, you know, having these in your tool bag is really going to be helpful to making sure you stay relevant. And most importantly, you know, get the revenue to bring your money in, because we're all here to, you know, to gain business. So
We don't have a new date yet, Vernita.
I was gonna say maybe April 13th. That's the second week, just like we did the second week. Well, this is the third week in this month, but today is the 9th, maybe the 13th.
okay. 13th of April. I'm down. I see you there.
Anybody doing something on 13th?
13th.
April?
Not right now.
No, I ain't got nothing going on. 13. April 13th. Hold on.
I have a wedding in May, so that's not going to interfere. What day in May?
Nope. My wedding's not till the 14th, so we're good.
All right.
All right, guys.
All right.
Well, have a good rest
All
of your
right,
night.
bye.
I appreciate each and every one of you. You can find me at Ready Central Florida Notaries on Facebook and YouTube. Where can they find you, guys?
I found this on
The Crafty Notary on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and TikTok.
The Notary Education Group on Facebook. I have two groups, one for members only, one that's open to the public. Bailey's Notary Services on Facebook. That's my business page. And the Notary Education Group on YouTube as well. Sorry.
All right,
All right, guys, we're out.
All right.
See you later.
Bye.